Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you at this late stage of the proceedings for still being here this afternoon. I'd just like to start by congratulating the JP for their excellent initiative. I think it's high time that Jersey farming was put on the agenda and put into the public domain so that people realise what's going on in the countryside. You may notice from my title slide that I'm going to take a bit of a personal approach to this. And for those of you that don't know me or my family, the character on the right-hand side of the photograph there is my son Matthew, carrying out the same job that I, alongside him, was doing 25 years ago. And indeed that my father, who's also with us today, had carried out 25 years before that. So I thought today I'd start looking at my views on Keep Jersey farming. The Keep Jersey farming campaign has already been put into action under the guise of a rural economy strategy. Our government have always been involved in trying to keep Jersey farming. So I thought a good place to start would be looking at the Economic Development Business Plan, latest copy, and looking what the strategy says about the ways in which government is going to help industry to keep Jersey farming. When I start to read this document, there were two phrases that actually jumped off the page at me, and they were that levels of subsidy are at a level which allows Jersey farmers and producers to remain competitive, and that the arable sector remains relatively buoyant. I disagree, and I actually disagree quite strongly. So the purpose of my presentation today is to try and show you, present an analysis of where I think farming is, an analysis that is based on economic reality, how we've arrived at this point, so some of the history behind the industry. And the industry today is at a point where we are on the brink of developing a new policy, a new economy strategy. I'm very pleased to hear this morning that we have the opportunity that funding has been put in place to continue a strategy, and we now need to work out what that strategy is going to be. The starting point in working out that strategy has to be a transparent and a truthful appraisal of where the industry is today. We've got some harsh realities to face, but I don't want this to be a story of gloom and doom, nor is it some sort of blame game. But we need to recognise the truth, and in doing that, then together, the industry, the public, the government, then we can move forward. So some history. If we're going to consider what we need to do in the future, perhaps the most obvious place is to start with the past. And a little bit of analysis as to why we have such a rich and varied rural heritage. So certainly our geography with our climate, fertile soil, has been helpful. And the people of the island, independent, hard-working, entrepreneurial. But more significantly for me is what I've termed our socio-economic and geopolitical status. We just explained that. Specifically, tariff-free access to the UK market. For centuries, Jersey was an outpost. We first gained tax advantages in our trade with the UK back as far as the 14th century. Those advantages have endured the ages, carried through successive centuries, which has seen us engaged in a number of activities, and very successful activities at their time. So the knitwear industry, cod fishing, shipbuilding, cider, cattle, oysters, tomatoes, new potatoes, have all been built on this trading relationship with the United Kingdom at advantageous tax rates for islanders. Underpinning this is an economic activity. Farming is an economic activity. As soon as the economics don't stack up, the farming activity will cease. With luck, as has happened in the past, it can be replaced by something else. In the example of the cider industry, in about 1860, the English changed the tax rules. They put duty on cider coming in from Jersey. There was more competition from English cider makers. The industry within a 10-year period disappeared. Fortunately for the island at the time, it was replaced by the Jersey Royal. And that has endured for the last 130 or so years. Moving on to slightly more recent times, and perhaps the biggest game changer that the island's agricultural sector has faced in the post-war period, the UK's decision to join the European Economic Community in 1973. Ralph Vibert, many of you will remember, who was the chief political architect on the island of our agreement to be associated with the EEC, stated that in the event of Jersey entering the EC with the UK, Jersey would continue to enjoy its existing privileges, but unfortunately, from the island's point of view, these advantages would be shared by all other member countries of the enlarged EEC. Clearly a warning sign for Jersey businesses so dependent for so many centuries on that close relationship with the UK. All of a sudden, as we can see from the map, now we have 28 countries in the EU. They have all the same tariff-free access to the UK market that Jersey had relied on for so many years. It's particularly relevant because of the common agricultural policy.